How you guys doing over at Journey? This is David. Today I am bringing you some videos on the QueenWalk VaHo attack. This is an attack that has been working well for me. I don't think I'm the world's expert on it. I'm still not as comfortable with it as I am with the straight GoHo attack or the Go La Loon or the QueenWalk La Loon and some of those attacks, but um, there's been a lot of demand lately for the QueenWalk VaHo ever since the last patch. Obviously, Valks have been getting a lot of love, and it is a strategy that works for a great number of bases. Because the Valks are a little bit overpowered right now, you can really see them in use in multiple different ways and a variety of base configurations. So I wanted to walk you through the general steps that I follow when attempting to do a QueenWalk VaHo attack. I'm going to start with, I'm going to look at attacks across a couple of recent wars we've been in. I'm going to start with a war that we've been in recently against CW Bootcamp with G-Love. G-Love had a really nice attack. And just in general, before we look at the attack, the steps of the QueenWalk VaHo, which should be in the description of the video you're watching. Step number one is using the queen, try to walk for value. We're not just going to put the queen down haphazardly. We're going to try to put the queen where she can walk a long way, where the healers are not going to get tagged by air defenses as she strolls by them, and where she's going to be able to then take out some key defenses. And number two is have the queen also handle the CC troops. So either something that allow the queen to walk into the CC's aggro range, or bring a hog so that the queen's able to pull the CC out. Bring a hog that's able to pull the CC out and then get that over to the queen for disposition. Usually have a poison round for that as well, but the queen for value and for the CC. Once that's done, you're going to put down a couple of tanks and some wizards for funneling, and then you're going to try to lay the Valks down. And you want to try to get those Valks down so that they're going to end up getting to both xbows. If you see a base where both xbows are in the core, like the one we're looking at, that immediately becomes, for me, a really good candidate for a QueenWalk VaHo attack. I don't remember exactly what Hitman did here, but one way you might be able to do this is put a queen down here. This air defense is 5 away, 1 for the wall, 2, 3, 4 for the archer tower, 5 for that air defense. The queen's range is 5, so the queen's going to be able to shoot that air defense. You go put the queen down and walk her up this way. It looks like it's going to be a really easy pull with a hog. Single hog should be able to get in and get the CC lured and out to the queen. The queen should be able to handle a bunch of really great defense as she walks along. Archer tower, air defense, cannon, wizard tower, archer tower. Again, I don't remember exactly where Graham walks her, but in each side of this base it's about the same. Once the walk is completed or is underway and the CC has been disposed of, I can see right here there's a great opportunity with a single jump to get access to a core, some wall breakers to blow away one level of wall, and then a single jump spell should get me into the core that has both these xbows. And if I can get those Valks into the core with the xbows, put a heal down on them, it's a good day to be alive. And then the last step of the QueenWalk VaHo is, after you walk the queen for value, after you take care of the CC troops, again hopefully with the queen, after you get your Valks into the area with both xbows, while the defenses are pointed at those Valks and are dealing with those Valks, the final step of the QueenWalk VaHo is the hog part, and it's just sprinkling those hogs in on the defenses that hopefully are distracted shooting at the Valkyries or shooting at the queen. And so the hogs, it's not like the Go-Ho attack where they're the single point of focus and you're focusing really hard trying to make sure the spells are there and they're responsible for doing the damage and cleaning up. It's a little bit more precision generally with the QueenWalk VaHo attack. You're trying to send hogs in usually at distracted defenses, usually on the perimeter defenses, to compartments whose walls you don't want to have to bash through with your Valks in order to clean those up while defenses are focused otherwise. The spell composition that Graham brought along here is, every base is different, but it's the one I generally go with the most. 2 heals, a rage, and a jump. The jump is used to get the Valks into the compartment you want them. The rage can be used to keep your queen up. Rage those healers makes those healers heal at an insane rate. So the rage can be used to keep your queen up. The rage can also be used, if you don't need it to keep your queen up, the rage can be used to let those Valks melt through Tesla farms, cores with xbows, whatever they need to melt through. And then the two heals. Heals can be laid out for a couple different purposes. You can heal Valks while they're going over double giant bombs. You can heal to get you through a Tesla farm. You can heal to get your Hogs through more defenses than they were going to get through originally. You can put a heal down in a junction that the Valks are going to be passing through a couple times. Maybe you put a jump down that connects a couple compartments. You put a heal on top of the jump, and the Valks are going to course in and out of that heal. Those are the possible uses for the heal. And then the poison, I don't see his second poison here. Maybe that was just a mistake on his part. But usually a couple poison for the CC. His troop composition, again, you have a lot of leeway here. But in general, he's in the same ballpark that I like to see. 10-ish Valks is my standard Valk composition. He went a little higher. 10-ish Hogs, he went a little lower on the Hogs, which is fine. I usually bring 4 healers. He brought a 5th. That's fine. Again, anywhere in the neighborhood. Some wall breakers for the outer wall, which is going to be needed in this case. No matter where he breaks in, he's going to want some wall breakers for the outer wall. So his jump then can get him all the way into the core. And then inside that CC, I really love bringing max Valks and max wall breakers. I love bringing max wall breakers because I am the king of the wall breaker fail. That's me. So I like to bring max wall breakers because a max wall breaker can withstand wizard tower shots. If you're really good with the wall breakers, bring a whiz in there. What do I care? And bring your own wall breakers instead. Oh yeah, and that's the thing that Graham doesn't have that I usually bring are some funnel whiz or some funnel minions. So I usually have some more funneling down. It looks like he might end up just using Valks to create his funnel, which is a little expensive, but will get the job done. So let's see what he does. He starts by putting down the queen, which I love. Healers behind the queen, which is great. I'm not sure whether or not he is going to attempt to get that air defense as I had initially recommended. And we're bringing some wall breakers in early, which is okay. He's going to bring that queen in, so it's going to be more of a queen charge, I guess, than a queen walk. What's going to happen with the queen? Let me speed up just a little bit here to see what happens. And one hog went in to pull the CC. He got most of the CC. I'm not sure that was all of the CC with the hog. And I think the queen is going to walk. Yeah, which would be my preference anyway. So another hog goes in to get the rest of the CC. The queen is going to start walking. He did not get that air defense taken care of here. He started his queen a little bit too high, so his air defense is still up. If he started that queen a little lower, the queen would have taken out that air defense. I don't like the charge idea that he had. I think the right thing was to walk. There's just too much value that he's going to get up here with the walk. It's a great time to walk. So I think maybe that wasn't his plan, but I think it was for the best. The healers get out of the range of that air defense. His queen's going to come back and take care of those pesky wizards and archers. And also the Loons. If this was me, I would have laid a Valk down to help clear out those troops shooting at my remaining healers. I guess it's a good thing he started with 5 healers instead of 4, huh? So his queen continues along. Down comes his tanks. He's now firmly in step 3, continuing with the tank and whiz for funneling. He doesn't have any whiz for funneling. He's just using tank and tank for funneling. The queen is now soaking damage from an expo, which is lovely, lovely. We have a nice wide funnel created, and in come the Valks. Look how wide this funnel is for the Valks, which I will do in blue. Why not? I don't have a red. Nice wide funnel for the Valks. I bet you there's going to be a jump that goes down right here to connect them into the core. There's no chance they're going to go left. There's no chance it's going to go right. The QueenWalk VaHo is a fast attack, so you don't need to worry about how much time you're spending on the funnel. Take your time and do a good funnel. Beautiful job on the jump. The Valks are going in. One bomb goes off just with a handful of Valks, but doesn't look to be a threat. He sends his Hogs in early. It's not too early. It's a little earlier than maybe I would have done it, but at the same time, he's got a bunch of these, he's got a bunch of these defenses focused on his king right now anyway. So yeah, why not release the Hogs? They were also a little bit more in a pack than I would have preferred. I would have liked to see a little more precision. Beautiful heal down on that core, keeping those Valks up as they handle the xbows, as they run through another giant bomb set. And this base is actually already dead, in my opinion. We've got a king going around the edge. He puts a heal down on the Hogs to keep those Hogs all the way up. The queen's still walking around. Valks are walking around. Hogs are now cruising into that compartment, and this is game over. The queen walked for value. The queen took care of the CC. He used 2 hogs to pull the CC out for the queen. He used a tank. Instead of a tank and whiz as I recommend, he used a tank and tank, the king and the Valk, to set the funnel. Then a beautiful job sending those Valks into the middle of the funnel, jump into the core of the base where he's able to get to both xbows, put a heal down on top of those Valks while they were dealing with that core. And I don't even remember where he put the rage down at this point. If it was on the queen, maybe to keep her up. I don't remember seeing it on the Valks. And now it's just cleanup. He's got hogs for cleanup. He's got a bowler up that must have gone to the CC troops as well. He's got everything. So, really nice job by Mr. Graham. Really nice job. Okay. I'm going to take a look at one of my attacks. It is against a really low-level opponent. I feel bad because I think there's a lot of ways to stomp this base when I'm rolling in with Queen 30 against Expo 1s. But I did want to show it because in this case, these Expos are really far apart. So because they're far apart, there isn't like a central core that's screaming, Valk me. However, the base is really, really spread out. It's a really open, wide base where there's not going to be too many defenses focused on the same area, which is a positive for Valks, because those Valks are so strong. If there's only a couple defenses pointing at them, they can really take those defenses down and move on without losing much health. So I know right away I've decided to do a QueenWalk VaHo. I know right away it's going to be difficult for me to connect my Valks to both of these Expos. It's certainly possible. What some people will do, and it's a perfectly fine strategy, we're going to look at an example later. I could have wall broken into one section, and then done a jump here to get me access to 4 compartments, and another jump here to get me access to another 3 on top of that. That would have been no problem. That would have been fine. Would have been lovely. I have no complaints about it. If this was a go VaHo attack, I think that is probably what I would have done instead of a QueenWalk VaHo. Sprinkle some heals down, 2 jumps, 2 heals to keep the Valks up. Maybe save that heal for the Hogs. That would have been fine. But instead, what I decided to do, because you know me, if I got a 30 queen, I want to use the 30 queen, so I want to do a walk to some extent. What I'm going to try to do is get that Expo with the queen. Again, the wall, let me use a different color here. The wall is 1, 2, 3 spaces, and then the Expo. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anything that's 5 away, my queen can kill. So the little funneling from the baby dragon, I'm not sure I got great value out of the baby dragon. 10 spots seems like a lot, but whatever. I get the queen into the compartment I want. 4 healers on my queen 30. She's soaking up that Expo. That feels fun. That's basically like a back scratch to her. Sending a hog in to get the CC. Much like Graham before me, 1 hog does not quite get all the CC. No worries. Poison down on the first CC. Hog in to try to get the rest of it. Here comes the rest of it. CC coming down on my queen now. The time is ticking away, but I'm not worried. The Valks work so quickly. I don't mind taking my time. Queen rage there, the queen ability there maybe was not necessary. I don't know. Now, as soon as I know that the Expo's been taken care of, that the CC troops has been taken care of, it is time now to start my Valk attack. I know I want to end up getting those Valks into the central compartment to take care of the bow. I want to try to connect as many as I can, so I'm thinking about a jump here. That's a 4-section jump, which means I want to break in at the top. This was not a fresh attack. I know there's a bunch of Teslas here. So in my mind, I'm going to put down this funnel. Then put down the giant. That's my tank now. And my wizards for the funneling. I'm on step 3. And down come my CC Valks with my CC wall breakers. And now here we go. And look at all those beautiful, beautiful Valks coming into the base. I have a rage down. I can afford a rage for my Valks because I didn't need it for my queen. Again, if you were attacking this with a 15 queen or a 12 queen, you might have needed that rage to keep your queen up, and that would have been okay, because this base is overkilled. Those Valks underneath the rage, the jumps down on time. I put the heal down on top of the jump. The heal was maybe a little bit early, but I love putting jumps down and then heals on top of jumps, because I feel like sometimes the troops will path back through the same spot twice, and I'll get double value for my heal. It didn't really work out here, but that was my idea. So I think that heal was maybe a little early. Now my hogs are coming in. Could have been more precision on the Hogs. I had a little bit of a spread, but not much of one. They took more damage from that Wizard Tower than I wanted, so heal down for the Hogs. I was debating. But already you can see that the base is done, right? Valks took care of the Tesla farm. It's done. Queen took care of one expo. Valks took care of the other expo. Healed the Hogs up top, so they're full. I've got a Queen that's up. I've got a King that's up. I've got a few Valks still trolling around, distracting defenses while the Hogs are doing their thing. And notice the cannon down there still shooting at Valks as the Hogs close in. So this thing's all done. I saved a Wiz and some archers for cleanup. I usually save some archers for cleanup. And this is a destroyed base. No worries. Valks ran over that double giant bomb that had been right here so that the Hogs didn't threaten to go over it. Really nice deployment overall. That's the type of attack that's been working for me. I'm not sure what Powerbang would say, I'm not sure what Jake would say, but for me that's the general thing that's been working. Let me show a few more attacks, because I know this is going to be a tutorial that's of interest to many of you. So I'm going to show Alpha's attack on Lucid. Now this is a fail, and I thought it'd be nice, again, I like to show attacks that don't go well. He has the right idea. He's going to put this QueenWalk down for value. Right away I'm perturbed, because this base is laid out for anti-QueenWalk. And the reason I say that, a wall is 1, the archer tower is 2, 3, 4, and then they've got a space there. I don't know if you can see that if I drew right over it. But they've got a space sitting there inside the wall between the archer tower and the air defense, which means that this air defense is not 5 spaces away. It means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces away. And the Queen can't shoot 6 spaces. But even though it's 6 spaces away, look at that range it has. So when the healers flatten out, that air defense is going to be able to get the healers as they follow the Queen along. So already I'm really concerned by the Queen placement here. He has the right idea. He wants to walk the Queen. That was also a wasted Wiz. That Wiz wasn't doing anything. He wants to walk the Queen. He's sending some wall breakers in, because he tried to send some wall breakers in because he realized the base was anti-QueenWalk. He's trying to compensate by doing a Queen charge. Meh. Of course, he had a wall breaker fail, so here comes a few more wall breakers. But these wall breakers are now too low. And as a result of that wall breaker fail, because he was trying that risky Queen charge, his Queen's now entering too low, so it's not going to take care of that top air defense. Rage down for the Queen, no problem. This is a double jump for the VaHo, which is okay as well. And so now you can see this air defense is teeing off on his healers. Out comes the CC troops pulled with a Hog. The poisons are perfect. I expect the Queen's going to be able to dispose of them, except will she be able to? Yes, Queen's able to dispose of them. There's still 2 healers up, so everything is not lost. And now he's moving on to the next stage of his attack. He's got the CC pulled with that Hog. I think he wanted that Queen to take care of this expo. I'm not sure. He's still got 2 jumps, so he can do a lot of things with those 2 jumps. He's got a Golem for his tank and the Wiz for his funnels, so he's following the plan still. As I'm looking at this, I'm guessing jump maybe is his plan, because he's got to get those Valks through the Tesla farm into the expos. To Grandma's house we go. So he bashes through that wall. Down come the Valks. First jump down. He's going to get access to 2 more compartments, not 3, but it's a little bit more directed. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. The Golem is already Golemites because it took so long getting through the front wall because he spent his wall breakers early. His heal down is early. He didn't cover Expo. He didn't cover Tesla Farm. He did need to do something about those giant bombs, but if the Golem was out front, they would have taken the giant bombs instead. The Queen has now died. The healers have disengaged. The Queen died because it wasn't strong enough to keep. There weren't enough healers still up to keep the Queen up. There weren't enough healers because his entry point was wrong. And it was a nice idea. It was a nice idea. His second jump was going to get him access to the second Expo. You can see he brought 2 jumps because he intended to send those Valks all the way down. His heal, while a little bit early, he did have a double giant bomb to contend with. I get salty whenever I see a Golem coming that's not soaking a double giant bomb. I'm not a huge Golem fan on the VaHos. And really, if he could have gotten those initial wall breakers in to charge the queen in at that first AD, I think it would have been a much more successful raid. He would have had the healers up that would have kept his queen up. And as you can see, even with the mistakes made here, which weren't numerous, and again, you saw the idea, which was very good. QueenWalk, here he tried to turn into a queen charge. Hogs to pull the CC, Valks in from the top. He had to use a double jump here to get the Valks into the both spaces with the xbows, which made it more challenging. If that queen was stayed up, in my mind, it definitely would have been a clear. So that was another example of a QueenWalk VaHo. I have actually two more to show you. The other two are from our War versus Demo fighter, and I want to look at Chase 2 versus 16. This is a pretty decent QueenWalk VaHo. He actually does a QueenWalk Go VaHo. Chase is an amazing attacker, right? Let's face it, he's 10 times the attacker I will ever be, and twice as pretty and all that jazz. He does do his VaHo attacks a little bit differently than I do, and I think it's worth showing. A lot of the principles are the same, right? So he's starting with a queen and he's walking for value. If you're asking me or Chase or anybody else how you're going to do for advice on doing a QueenWalk VaHo attack, the first thing we're going to look at is what's the value we're going to get. So his queen's soaking that expo 2. Again, it tickles a little bit, I think. Although 15 queen maybe does more than tickle. He loves those baby dragons for funneling down there. That's his funnel. Rage to deal with the enemy queen. That's value. For sure, that's value. And the queen's just taking out defense. Queen's just taking out defense. I'm expecting to see a hog any time now to pull the CC out. I think he might be waiting to get that cannon taken care of to make sure he gets the hog in deep enough into the base. So cannon finally goes down. We have a golem out. So now he's adding another tank and another tank. I would have thought to see a couple whiz by now, but that's okay. And is the queen going to pull the CC on her own? The golem's just taking hits for fun. King out. And yeah, the queen actually pulls the CC. And because he didn't use a hog to get the CC first, the CC troops are heading straight for his king, which I don't think is what he had in mind. Now he's got two wizards there, and the wizards are going to do work. They're going to do great work. And income, while I was focusing on that, you can see what he's doing now. He's brought one jump, and he's going to send those Valks in and jump them into a couple of sections, which is going to include some Teslas and the Expo. You know, again, a little differently. I think the right way to do this, I'll say the right way to do it, would have been able to come in on, maybe not that one, would have been to come in on one of the side panels and then try to do a jump that connected all of my Expos. It would have meant that he would have had to use the Valks to bash through some walls to get there, right? Either wall break here and then they're going to have to cruise through this wall, or wall break here, cruise through this wall before the jump goes down. But I mean, they're purple walls. So for me, the jump should have been further into the core. Sorry, Chase, I still love you. For me, the Hogs should have pulled the CC troops out for the queen to deal with, instead of this business with the poison and the wizards. So here we go. He does have a gorgeous heal down on the junction. The Valks step in that heal slightly, quickly. They're going to get through. A couple giant bombs go off. We wish we had that heal down right now, don't we? And the queen is still walking for value. The Teslas are up. The Valks are going to bash through the purple walls now, and they are going to bash through the wall to get to that last compartment with the Expo. So I'm glad they pathed that way. The golem is still up. The golem is tanking now, which is nice, and the Hogs are running free and wild. And with those Hogs running free and wild, the queen is still up. So again, not the system that works as well for me as I usually see, but it was a great hog release while the defense was distracted. His Valks did bash through the right wall. You can see the golem was all the way up by the end, which is another sign to me that maybe he wasn't getting full value out of the golem. Usually I like to have at least seen those split for golemites to indicate that it soaked a good deal of damage. So I didn't love the Valk release. I didn't love the jump. I loved the heal. I loved the QueenWalk for value. I certainly love the approach of getting those Valks into the core and the spell composition so much here that I really did like, along with the hog release point. Last one I wanted to look at was Mossab versus 5. Did I want 5 or 7? I don't think I wanted this one. I don't think that one went very well. Hang on. Let's do versus 7. I think 7 was the more interesting one. Yes, because here he brought a QueenWalk go VaHo. So instead of bringing Hogs to finish up at the end, oh, I can't zoom on that part, he brought Loons, which is fine. Either Loons or Hogs, both of them ignore walls, so either of them are perfectly fine to bring for the back end of a go VaHo attack, or a go VaHo attack, or a QueenWalk VaHo attack, or whatever in the world this is going to be. Let's see what he does. Again, his queen's going to go down for value. If it's me, I'm probably putting her on the south side of the base because both the xbows are up north, which means that she's not going to be in range of those xbows. She's going to be able to do a lot more damage. She's able to soak a lot more damage, rather, and I probably won't have to use a rage on her since the xbows won't be firing on her at the time. Mossab agrees, and I think it's a great queen placement. And he's going to walk that queen along. He already got 1 defense. He's going to get 2, and hopefully she'll just continue right along. She won't get that mortar because it's 6 in, but hopefully she'll just continue right along and walk her little walk. And right now I would think he could use a hog. I see he brought exactly 1 hog with him. I bet it's to pull CC. Right now I bet he could use a hog to pull that CC. It looks like he's desperately trying to get the queen to walk back to the left, but it doesn't look like it matters. And now it looks like she's going in, which is okay. Finally down comes the hog to pull the CC. That could have been earlier. And we're going to see poison, I bet. I love it. Double poison's going to kill those loons so that they have no chance to take the queen out while she's focused on the dragon. It's always the danger of dragon, loon, is that while your queen is focused on the dragon, the loons will sneak up and bomb you to death. So now the queen's actually gone in, which I don't know if that was his plan or not, but there's some great value in there. And without an expo is going to engage shortly, and so he does the pre-rage because he wants to take care of that 23 queen as well, which I think is super smart. Oh, gosh. Not quite. Didn't quite get the job done. So the queen's down, but the raid is not lost. Because we've got a nice funnel developed already. Those healers are taking damage. In comes the king, in comes the wizards, and now in come the Valks, following up behind. So we're still trying to follow the plan. And he's not going to end up clearing this base, but it's going to come really stinking close. He's actually going to wall break through 2 layers of walls, which is fantastic. This is what I wanted Chase to do on the last base. Because now that he's through those 2 layers of walls, he can put a jump down here and get access to this second expo and all the Teslas that pop up. And in fact, that's exactly what you see Mossab do. And that is just, for me, a perfecto jump. And right now, his heal is too early. That heal needed to be further in, need to be looking a little bit further ahead so it could still be covering the troops. And right now, almost every defense in the whole map is pointing at those Valks in the center. So this is the time to release those loons. He's got a couple loons coming in from the backside. For my money, he could release the rest of the loons now. He does have a healer still up. Those Valks are doing well. He's just too slow on the rest of those backside loons, I think. We've got a healer up. We've got Valks up. If that queen was up, oh, this would be a sure thing. If that queen was up, it'd be a sure thing. So this is going to end up timing out. And I think the 2 primary reasons are, number 1, he didn't keep the queen alive. Didn't keep the queen alive, which is going to hurt you. Number 2, he spent so long bashing through the wall with the queen before he used the hog to pull the CC troops and get the rest of the attack started. He spent, I think, 20-30 seconds just playing around with that wall. If he would have gone to the latter stage of the attack, once the queen started bashing through the wall, he already had a clear path to that wizard tower. It was time then to let that single hog go to pull the CC so that the queen could deal with it. And as soon as that CC is coming down towards the queen, you can release those Valks and let the base clearing begin. And then number 3, he was, for my money, he was late on those backside loons. But nonetheless, you saw the basic algorithm, the basic tenet of the QueenWalk VaHo attack, even though it was a QueenWalk VaHo in this case. You saw the basic strategy employed there. QueenWalk for value and for the CC, which you might need to use a hog to pull. Tank and whiz for funneling. We've seen tank and tank for funneling. We've seen tank and baby dragon for funneling. Whatever it takes, whether it's giants or golems or whatever, something for funneling. Valks You want those Valks to get to the xbows, you want them to clear out a giant bomb or two, and then Hogs or Loons for the edge defenses while they're focused on all the action happening in the core, all those Valks running around. I hope this was useful to you. Again, this is just what's worked for me. Feedback or comments or so forth, please feel free to leave them or ask me online. Thanks.